Ever get the feeling that 9mm is living off its reputation a little too comfortably? It's been the defensive standard in the United States since back when everyone was rocking denim jackets and rewinding mixtapes, roughly the early 1990s. It's affordable, easy to control, and cycles like a dream through just about every Glock, SIG, or Smith out there. But let's not pretend it's untouchable. A new generation of contenders is stepping into the ring faster, harder hitting, and flatter shooting. Some of these are smoother than a high-end Kentucky Rye, and they're not politely asking for 9mm to move aside. They're kicking the door in with something hotter than your average 115-grain full metal jacket. Now don't get me wrong, we're not dragging 9mm through the mud. This is about honest comparison. We're laying it on the bench and lining up 6 serious challengers that are gunning for the throne. Some are tried and true classics with deep roots, while others bring cutting-edge ballistics to the table. Either way, they're all aiming to knock the champ off its pedestal. Number 1. 45. Automatic Colt Pistol. Let's kick this off with a heavy-hitting legend, the 45 Automatic Colt Pistol. Born in the early 1900s, this round didn't just earn its stripes, it fought for them through both world wars, decades of service in American law enforcement, and more than a century of civilian loyalty. It usually launches a hefty 230-grain slug at around 850 feet per second. That kind of energy is less about speed and more about raw force. Yes, the recoil's got some kick to it, especially in compact carry pieces, but in full-size pistols like a classic 1911 or the FNX 45 Tactical, the extra weight helps soak it up, giving you solid follow-up control. Sure, you won't be stuffing 17 rounds into a mag, but 10 rounds of 45 hit like 10 bricks through drywall. It's not about spraying, it's about making each shot count. And let's not pretend it's outdated. Load it with modern defensive ammo, like Federal HST or Speer Gold Dot, and you're looking at reliable expansion and textbook penetration. Whether you're slinging it from a battle-proven 1911 or a high-tech FNX with a threaded barrel and optic-ready slide, the 45 still hits with authority. Some folks say it's old. I say it's seasoned like a vintage bourbon with just the right bite. Number 2. 40 Smith & Wesson. Next up, the 40 Smith & Wesson, the middleweight bruiser that's been through both love and rejection in the firearms world. Once a favorite of police departments nationwide, this round built its reputation on real-world effectiveness. It generally pushes 165 to 180 grain bullets at about 1,000 feet per second, putting it above 9mm in terms of raw energy without cutting magazine capacity too drastically. In full-size platforms like the Glock 22 or Smith & Wesson M and P2.0, it delivers a firm recoil pulse that experienced shooters can tame quickly. In lighter carry pistols, it can feel a bit more abrupt, but with enough range time, that sharp recoil becomes muscle memory. Once mastered, 40 caliber can be surprisingly quick and accurate. Training with 40 Smith & Wesson builds a shooter's discipline. It demands control, but gives you confidence in return. It's still the round of choice for many seasoned folks who've spent years behind the trigger. It might not be trendy in internet circles, but those who know it, trust it. With proven loads like the Speer Gold Dot, Winchester Ranger, or Federal HST, this round remains a solid contender for defense. It might not turn heads at the gun shop, but when it comes to real-world performance, 40 Smith & Wesson still speaks with authority. Number 3. 5.7 by 28mm. Now let's talk about a cartridge that breaks every mold. 5.7 by 28mm. Originally built by FN Herstal for NATO's personal defense weapons. This little speed demon is in a class of its own. Instead of launching heavy bullets slowly, it fires lightweight projectiles at blistering speeds easily over 2,000 feet per second, even out of a standard pistol barrel. That high velocity gives you a razor-flat trajectory and exceptional accuracy, well past typical handgun distances. Recoil? Minimal. Thanks to the lightweight bullet and slim cartridge profile, it recoils more like a .22 than a centerfire pistol. And because of its compact case design, magazine capacity is usually north of 20 rounds. Even in pistols like the FN 5.7 or Ruger 5.7. For a while, it was considered a niche round cool, but impractical. Not anymore. With defense-grade loads like Speer Gold Dot and FNs, SS-198 LF 5.7 is now a serious option for personal protection. It performs well, even through light barriers, and maintains solid integrity, where other rounds might fragment. Yes, it costs more, and no, you probably won't find a box at your corner gas station. But with more manufacturers jumping in, availability is improving, and the price gap is closing. Between the low recoil, high capacity, and impressive penetration, this cartridge has carved out real territory in the handgun world. It's not just some novelty, it's earned its spot, one clean shot at a time. Number 4. 357 SIG. There are cartridges that arrive with quiet confidence, and then there's the 357 SIG. This round kicks down the door like it's got something to prove, and it usually does. Built to give you the ballistic punch of the legendary 357 Magnum in a semi-auto format, it brings speed, deep wound channels, and stellar reliability, especially under duress. Engineers essentially took a .40 Smith & Wesson case, necked it down to take a bullet that measures 355 thousandths of an inch, and loaded it to high-pressure specs. The result? 125-grain projectiles blasting out at over 1,350 feet per second. That translates to serious energy on impact and a wound cavity that's downright nasty. This is the same round trusted by elite agencies like the United States, Secret Service, and the Texas Department of Public Safety, not because of hype, but because of proven barrier-blind performance and consistency under high-stress scenarios. In handguns like the SIG, Sauer P2, 229, or Glock 32, 357 SIG runs smooth and flat. The recoil has a sharp kick, sure, but it's mostly straight back and very manageable with some training. And that bottleneck case design? It feeds like a dream, jam-free operation even when things get gritty. Top-tier defensive loads from Federal, Spear, or Underwood give you deep penetration and uniform expansion, keeping this round competitive even with today's options. Yes, you'll pay a premium for ammo, and your handgun selection is a bit narrower. But for those who prioritize high velocity and fight-stopping potential, 357 SIG remains a top-shelf contender. Number 5. 10mm automatic. When you want your sidearm to hit like a hammer, 10mm automatic is your answer. This round showed up in the 1980s to bring real Magnum-level energy into the semi-auto world, and while it dipped in popularity for a while, it's come roaring back among serious shooters and backcountry defenders. Standard loads send a 180-grain projectile, flying at around 1,200 feet per second, delivering more than 700 foot-pounds of muzzle energy. That's big game-level performance, and it's been field-proven on threats far tougher than your average bad guy. In pistols like the Glock 20, Springfield Armory XDM, Elite, or the SIG, Sauer P. 220 Legion, 10mm is every bit the beast it was meant to be. What's changed is the shooter experience. Today's 10mm pistols have heavier slides, better ergonomics, and more recoil mitigation features than ever before. The recoil is still stout, no doubt, but it's linear and predictable, not snappy or erratic. Put in the reps, and it becomes second nature. Ammo companies like Buffalo Bore, Federal, and Underwood offer everything from soft practice loads to full power bear stopping options. If you reload, the 10mm gives you a massive range to work with, whether you're gearing up for home defense, outdoor carry, or just like the idea of having maximum horsepower in your holster. This cartridge delivers without apology. 10mm automatic isn't for the faint of heart or the recoil averse. But if you want serious stopping power in a semi-auto platform, this round is the real deal. Number 6. 357 Magnum. You can't talk about powerful handgun calibers without tipping your hat to the 357 Magnum. Since its debut in the 1930s, this revolver icon has delivered hard-hitting performance to law enforcement, hunters, and citizens who take self-defense seriously. Launch a 125-grain jacketed hollow point from a revolver with a 4 to 6 inch barrel, and you're hitting velocities between 1,400 and 1,500 feet per second, with energy topping 580 foot-pounds. That kind of performance leads to devastating wound tracks and deep penetration, perfect for both two-legged and four-legged threats. Revolvers like the Luger GPP 100, the Smith & Wesson Model 686, or even the SP 101 Bring rugged reliability to the table. No feeding issues. No magazine failures. Just 5 or 6 rounds of fight, stopping force, and the confidence that they'll fire every time, even in tough environments. Is recoil noticeable? Absolutely. Full house loads can be a handful. But in a heavy steel frame revolver, it's manageable, and for shooters who train regularly, the rhythm becomes intuitive. The icing on the cake? Versatility. Load it with 38. Special for light recoil practice or new shooters. Then step back up to 357 Magnum when it's time to get serious. Whether you're punching paper, defending your home, or heading into the woods, this cartridge adapts to the mission. 357 Magnum may not be flashy or trendy, but it still commands respect. This round isn't trying to keep up with the crowd. It's been setting the bar for decades. So, where does that leave 9mm? Each one of these 6 challengers brings something potent to the fight: more energy, deeper penetration, or specialized use in extreme conditions. Whether it's the blistering speed of 5.7 by 28mm, the thumping power of 10mm auto, or the stone-cold reliability of 357 Magnum, these cartridges all give shooters serious alternatives. But let's not pretend 9mm didn't earn its crown. It didn't get to the top of the heap by chance. It's soft on recoil, fast to shoot, easy to find, and comes in just about every pistol format imaginable. Law enforcement and military agencies didn't return to it out of nostalgia. They did it because it works. Shot placement, control, capacity, it nails the fundamentals. Because when everything hits the fan, your ammo's got one job: perform. And sometimes, the best round isn't the one that hits hardest. It's the one you can place exactly where it needs to go, again and again. So now it's your turn. Are you sticking with 9mm, or has one of these heavy hitters earned a spot in your rotation? Let's hear your take in the comments. That's where the real discussion lives.